order, and all stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I get a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk today, they got shot. Good. Moment of silence.
So, first order, review, discuss, and approve fiscal year 2026 tax commitment. You're here.
All right. For tonight's commitment, we have a little bit of a range of options for the mill rate. Last year's mill rate was 15.2 with an overlay of $28,767. So to the options for this year, the lowest mill rate option available to us this year is 17.6, which would bring us an overlay of $18,042. Our suggested mill rate is 17.7 with an overlay of $44,132. And the highest mill rate option, we just like to give the full range. 18.4 is the highest mill rate option with an overlay of $226,000. I apologize, $226,762. So that's kind of low, our suggestion, and then the high end option.
So we found a few issues. You committed last year to a mill rate of mill rate's a lot lower. But you also committed at 100% valuation. You were not at 100% valuation last year. You were going to receive a bill from the state that rectifies the overpayment of homestead reimbursement and Betty reimbursement. We've fixed that this year. The state, when they did their audit, showed the town being at 55% of market value. Minimum state standard is 70. I talked to Steve Sullivan this morning, and we both agreed that last year's state valuation did not include the factoring that was done here a couple of years last year. So the certified ratio for this town is actually at 75%. You're at the bare minimums, and that's rounding up. So you are definitely undervalued across the board. What was done last year kept you from being at 55%. So now you're at 75 roughly. We also found a couple of issues with the CMP valuation that has been solved. And there was a note on the state valuation that was incorrect last year. But we read that and made sure that any errors that came up last year are being solved this year.
How was that, CMP?
They were assessed at $19 million, and was that?
Roughly 21.
Yeah. Their reported valuation to the town was about $15 million last year, and we are at 75% of that. So we've lowered, your value has gone down because there's a substantial drop in that valuation in accordance with state statute. It was not done correct last year, so we have solved that. The homestead exemptions are also 75% this year where they're supposed to be. You get reimbursement per your commitment, wherever that lands tonight. And last year, the Betty, the personal property that was exempt, was reported at roughly $1.5 million, and we've corrected that at 75% by the statutory requirements, and that's going down about $400,000 as well. So that may not be the news you want, but that's the news that's correct. And you need to hear correct news, not the ones we want to tell you, but or anybody else wants you to have. We got to tell you like it is. So that's where we're at. Solved a few things. We are statutorily correct this year, as we're supposed to be, and we won't hear from the state on that. Steve and I spoke this morning and made sure that we were all both on the same page with our state valuation for here and for our commitment. There we are. So opportunities for
So you're saying our CMP value was overvalued?
135%. I'm surprised they haven't called us for an abatement.
So if memory serves me correct, when the new transmission line came through, they put the steel structures up, it took us a few years to assess those correctly.
Okay.
And we were, I believe at the time, we had undervalued those.
Okay.
And then our assessor's agent, and I don't remember this, maybe it was 10 years ago or whatever,
Yeah.
I believe our assessor's agent contacted somebody to help us reevaluate that transmission line.
Okay. So that would be the main, that notation that was on
And we put a new value on it,
there. Yeah.
and I remember a comment, and I don't know, I don't remember who it was from, because it had gone up so much
Yeah.
from, because nobody here in town knew how to value that. It
Right.
was, I mean, that was just way out of anyone
Yeah.
there realm. The comment was that because it had gone up so much, well, gee, what is CMP gonna do? And the comment was, well, they never really come in and complain about their value. They always take it for what the town assesses it at.
Yeah.
Which meaning typically the town is always lower than what CMP thinks their value of their transmission line is.
Yeah, because of the ratio.
And that's really, I think the last time anyone has ever looked at the value of that transmission line.
Yeah, so there's I don't know that, I'd have to look at what it looked like 10 years ago and see what CMP reported. Now, they report their value on a Schedule 25, and it's supposed to be up to date on a regular basis, and it usually is. I've never had an issue with it. But what you're saying concerns me a little bit.
Because we were still going off the old telephone pole value.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a few years, and as a matter of fact, I think it was Howie that came down on us
Mm-hmm.
on value
So they're
or something to that effect, our RSU superintendent. And it was then that, I forget who our assessor was, maybe the lady from Jefferson, Wonder, or, I don't know, anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody found a company that could help us assess it
Yeah.
correctly. And it was the new steel structures that had come through.
Right.
And no one had revalued that in the town.
Yeah.
So that obviously went up.
Yeah. CMP is supposed to report those on their Schedule 25. I do know that in Warren, they just put a new line in there with steel poles. They did not report any steel poles in Warren. That was for this year.
I hadn't heard about anything from CMP after that. I don't know
Yeah.
if anything was come across.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's 10 years ago, maybe it was 7 years ago,
Yeah.
but it's been a while since CMP has been discussed.
Yeah, so I used what they reported. I've been fairly accurate except for Warren this year. If you wanna give us 5 minutes, we can double check to see if we can get some CMP's values. That might tell us that there are more in line today. Because last year's value was 19 million, and we have 75% of 15 million, so about 11 million. So that could be what you're talking about, and this just hasn't been reported coming along. It should be, they're supposed to.
I remember it was a big to-do back in the day,
Yeah.
because we hadn't valued that structure.
Yeah.
And again, nobody in the town knew how to do that correctly, and somebody searched for someone who was up to date on those structures and helped us
Yeah.
value that. And that's the last I've heard of it.
Yeah.
What, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's a piece of information. Obviously, being here 8 months, 9 months doesn't help that.
Oh, you're supposed to know that stuff.
You would think. All the towns throughout the state, every year, I just lose track of one or two. So I'd like to do this, I wanna double check your concern. I'd rather be 5 minutes from now and right and not be 100% right now. Yep, so we can do that, that's good for you. We'll see what we can find out. I know where it is in all my other towns, but in this town, I'm not sure what 10 years ago CMP value was like. We'll see if we can find it.
And I say 10 years, it could be 7, but
7, 5, yeah.
it's been a while.
So
It's been a while.
the CMP Schedule 25 is not in a single folder for the whole town. It's in other folders. We'll see if we can put our fingers on something. Give us 5 or 10 minutes. We'll see if we can lock it out. I want to be sure. You know, it's okay to be wrong, and we can reprint. It's not a big deal. But if they took CMP Schedule 25 and added to it, then we could work off that number, which might be good.
And nobody from CMP gave us grief for the new value.
Right.
I do
Yeah.
remember that,
Yeah.
that nobody gave us,
There's
or if they did, Scott, our previous town manager did not relay that concern.
Okay. The concern would be not using their reported values adjusted by the ratio, is that they will request an abatement. So $4 million times a mill rate of 17 runs into real money after a
Yep.
while. So we wanna make sure that that's right up front.
And they haven't asked for one.
No.
As far as my knowledge,
Yeah,
so.
they may have a staffing issue either. I wanna just see if we can find some old data. Give us a couple minutes, we'll make sure it's right.
While he's doing that, we can actually do other business under the same accessories, if you're okay with that, Madam Chair? Okay, so just a note to while he's working on that, this presentation of mill rate is using 300,000 out of undesignated. But you do have the chart that I gave you at budget time with what R.H. Smith said that we had, which was approximately 1.965 million. Okay, so that has not been verified by an audit. I will preface that. They are still behind on the audit, but that was per Ron Smith on June 4th, okay? While we're waiting for Jim and Joe, I do have any other business as far as an abatement. Once again, Trio has enlightened us by recreating accounts that have been deleted in the past. One of them being that Birmingham Road trail. So I'm asking for an abatement on that for 3, 6, 7 years that has miraculously reappeared. And then Cindy Thompson moved a trailer 3 years ago. She spoke to the assessor's agent and they agreed that they would remove it. The trailer was on Collins Road, if I remember correctly. But she didn't come in until like 2 years after the fact that she realized that it was still on her bill. So I'm asking for this board assessors to consider an abatement on these 2 pieces of property.
That first one, you're saying 7 years of the rail trail?
Yep.
Are you saying the Central Maine Railroad? Yeah, but that's part of the central,
No, it's the narrow gauge, the one that I brought up when I first started here because I was unaware of what was going on. And we decided then to erase it. It went away for 2 years and then all of a sudden it came back again. And we can't figure out why.
Doesn't wanna leave us in there.
There's a 3-year gap. Yeah, it came off the books in like 26, yeah, it was weird.
It came off in 2016, I think, and then it came back again in 19, and
well, how does it keep coming back?
we don't have any idea. Several of us have looked at it.
I'd be a millionaire if I understood Trio better.
Right.
Yeah,
They used to do it when I was there.
yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
we're gonna ask you to approve an abatement on that, and then we're going to go in, leave the account, and put a zero value. So if it assesses anything in the future, it'll be zero, because that's a zero value. Okay. So,
So we're gonna abate an account,
Sorry, that abated.
we abated it once.
Why do they keep doing it?
2022.
It's a glitch in Trio. It will reactivate an
And the
account.
problem is, it shows up in our collectibles with the auditor. So in order to be compliant with the audit, you have to approve writing that debt off. And it basically gets taken out of your overlay. Because it's been committed to be used, okay? So, yeah,
Do you have lots and map numbers, or do I need them? Are they right here?
No, I don't think he put the account number on here. So I would just use the account numbers. Account 1211 and account 1395 for the years noted on the abatement.
So I'll make a motion that we abate account 121, for the fiscal year 2019 through 2025, and also account 1395, in the year 2023, 2024, and 2025.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
You can just sign that while we're sitting here.
Did we have that in our packets?
this just came in
Oh,
from
okay.
him. We're putting this under any other business. We wanted to make sure that was taken off before you commit taxes tonight, so we don't have to add it in again. Did you want a copy of that?
I know you're usually
This is
interested in
just,
that.
this is just the mobile home. The mobile home was moved in 2017, for some reason it showed on the books that it was completed. This one is 1291.
Thank you.
This one's 1291. Oh. And that's the Birmingham Road Trail, which is the old mobile home. Yep. If you try to look at anything on it, there's nothing from like 1891. I spent like an hour researching it. It's weird that got back up. It was a big, the account was never done. It doesn't do any good to open an account that you don't want to use this one, don't need it. This one I think was actually deleted, and then it came back. Trio's weird. Nope.
Stretch my nose. You may have time. That's $1 million over the target.
And we've never verified our RAD without an audit in Maine.
Well, for crying out loud, you got an audit saying it. And the money you
Last
took
audit
last
we
time.
had was 22, so. I'm missing 23s, 24s, and 25s.
Where are they?
They're being
In the
worked
works?
on.
Yeah.
They're being worked on as we speak.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, we heard that for the school for a long time.
For the last 2 years.
Yeah, I've seen nothing.
Be careful.
But Christine, you know at the end of the year, when you close out the books, how much money's in the bank. you gotta have an idea how close this number is. Is he close?
Probably very close.
Yeah. So, audit be damned, that's $1 million over the target, despite the fact how much was taken
That's already.
last time. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I told you it wouldn't go down.
And I've argued the point that it takes a couple years to cycle through to make sure that we're good, though, remember.
I understand that, but I'll take $1 million berth. Swing and miss, not a problem. There's room. And on the trio, did you have the short form or the long form?
Sure.
We have
No, when you, what you used to work with,
long.
long, yeah, we always had the short, and every now and then it would pull, like you could never delete a count, it got buried somewhere
I
in there.
didn't notice it as much with long,
Right,
that the accounts were coming in.
yeah.
I think we're working towards that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought, yeah,
They want long.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Jim's used to long form,
Yeah.
he has it in all his other towns, this is the only town that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every
sure.
now and then, we would delete something or correct it, and then the next year, we forgot about it, it was done, and all of a sudden it came back. Sometimes we caught it, and sometimes we didn't, depending on who it was, yeah. Yeah, yeah, very frustrating.
Yeah.
But it's the ratio, the sales analysis ratio that's hurting us.
Yep. Very overinflated.
Look at what homes are selling for.
What's that?
Look at what homes are selling for.
I know.
The one on Nash Road.
But the
somebody
topic was brought up several years ago to watch it.
The one on Nash Road, somebody, actually the code officer in Gardner, has under contract for it, $600,000.
The house Bologna sold last year for 500.
And probably the assessed value is 200.
Yeah, but that's what those sale analysis report comes in. Every November, I look at it. The part I don't understand is because our valuation is high, we got less school subsidy. So what numbers are the states really using?
Well, they usually run like 2 years behind.
Yeah, yeah, but we run a 3-year average though, too, so you'd think, but the CMP, we'd always take what they would send us.
I don't know about you.
There'd be a form that came in and we just carried the numbers over and trio. I'm starting to lose faith in professionals. Mike, wasn't that when we brought in the 3-phase? Or was that the steel strut was part of it, wasn't it?
And it was a couple, like I said, a couple of years before
Before,
it was caught that we
Yeah.
never valued it.
yeah, cause they brought that in for the, no, it wasn't tied to the school. They were
No.
coming in anyway, but it benefited the school because they needed,
I think in part, it was part of the Windsor,
oh, to go for their
The big
transition,
substation.
the substation, yes, for the substation. Yeah.
and I haven't heard about it since we,
No,
I think it was our assessor that, I think she was from Jefferson, she had a scar on her lip. I don't wanna say Wanda, but it wasn't Wanda. I think she was the one that helped us get a person or a company that valued the structures for us.
cause it sounds like it was the time when you were thin and you were here alone, you know?
No, it was.
No, wasn't that?
No, it was after the reval,
After,
so it was 2014-ish,
really?
15-ish, is that when it was
Huh,
revalued, I would say
Yeah.
revalued.
wow.
Can I get a raise?
Extra water.
Oh, good.
They're saying they're doing this. All different
I'll be right back.
sizes. Okay. You guys don't post it. Maybe.
I don't know if we have any records
You almost want
in here or not, or
we have an
about that.
accident.
Did you find any records of that out there?
No, well, we did find some. So, well, Joe's bringing it up. So last year's value was 22,604,000 and change. If that was at 100%, there's a little bit of logic in what I'll say. If that was at 100%, because that's what the town certified last year, if we took 75% of that, we'd be in the right neighborhood. That's the logic. We don't have any proof of where that number came from, but there's a logic to that. Which does reduce the mill rate some, from 17.7 to 17.30, I think.
To like 12.
No. It's a funny bunch. This is number 9, this is number 8 out of 10 that I'm working on this year, so, interest. So I think that, I'm not 100%, I'm comfortable with what you provided, what they did last year, and doing it correctly at 75%. That's the right number. It's assuming the 22 million. They reported 15 million and change. The town used 22 million last year, so there's something in there that you were talking about that rings true.
You have the ability to go back in the computer at all to see when we
No,
valued that?
no, because your computer system just, it doesn't hold a property card, it just has a number. So every year it's a new number, so there's no way to historically look at that. We're
Really?
going into every single commitment book and pulling that information. That's part of our proposal is to account maintenance, so you'd be able to look at property values back 15 years,
Yeah.
16 years on one form, so that's a separate kind of question, but you're in the right neighborhood. So we prepared for, what were you doing? 1730?
Yes, 17.3.
1730, we did about a 25,000 overlay, we were at 28,000 last year. So there's a certain amount of logic, but I don't know where that original number came from, but it makes some sort of sense, so.
So your new recommendation is 17 what?
30. And that's what you have, what I just gave you. 1730 is about 25,000 overlay.
And use the 300
And it was 300,000 coming out of undesignated. That was a recommendation of your esteemed manager.
How much do we have in there?
That's what you, I just gave you on that spreadsheet.
I think I'm not comfortable like I am in the towns where I've been working for 20, 30 years, but given what we know at this point, I think we've got the right concept. 2 days from now, I could be wrong, I don't think so. Looking at the evidence presented.
If you increase that to 500, what would your mill rate be?
You go recompete? Yep.
Add another 200 to it, then.
Yeah, overlay. Overlay, yeah. So it'll be some.
I thought we wanted to have that on 800,000 is what I heard, right? What we wanted, well, last year, that was the goal,
For fund balance.
yeah.
The minimum is,
9 something, I thought.
the target level is $1 million. That's the target level, according to your policy.
Right.
And per R.H. Smith, we have 2.6 less the 600 we used last year, leaves you at 1.9. Again, I don't have an audit in hand. What do you wanna say?
But I mean, if it's,
Overly excited but optimistically cautious.
all right,
So 16, I would change it to a mill rate of 16.5, 16.50,
With 500,000.
with 500,000, overlay of 12,000. 16.6 would give you an overlay of 39,000. Both are mathematically Correct.
39,000, you said?
And, yeah,
And that's basically used for abatements and things that come back.
it's around off the mill rate,
Yeah.
so you don't have fractional pennies on the tax roll. And I like to use $100 round off on property values and replaces 13, 2, 4, 6, 8 formula rates, not 13, 25, 35, and that kind of stuff. Gives a nice even number in taxes. Saves your accountant from making, what's it called, data entries, it's a fancy word for it.
Adjustments?
I just. It's not the word, but it's not revolving. It's a fancy word for it. I do assessing, I have to accounting.
Jim's worked with us way too long.
Yeah,
He loves us.
What time is it? So you can go 16.5 within reason, 16.6 is within reason.
Who told us, was it Ron or Karen, that we shouldn't have done 600 last year? That
Karen,
it was gonna bite us in the ass?
Karen,
So if we do 5, we're basically in the same boat, if her comment holds true.
Karen's optimistic, Karen is optimistic but cautious as I am.
Right.
Without an audit in hand.
Me too. So, I'll do this philosophy a different way. We're not in the low tax business, we're in the run the town business. And there's a difference. I would love everybody's taxes to be $1,000 and it'd be easy, but the school is 59% of your tax bill, the county is another 10% or something like that, so. Some of that's out of your control.
Right.
You can split the difference, do 400.
Just the thing is, it's like, people are trapped as it is, I mean, how much, you know what I mean, like,
And it's always been
kind of
true.
pushing this, you kinda gotta drop it down, cause you can't just keep,
Yeah.
everything they do with this close to the roof, and I get it.
I've been doing
Not having an
commitments.
audit is not very,
Yeah, that's not good. But you're in the same boat as a lot of other towns. It's just
He's
not
the only
enough
game in
auditors.
town, so.
Not enough auditors. I've done, my first commitment was 31 years ago, and I've done upwards of 7 and 10 a year since then. And your comment always comes up, because it's always been true. You know, there's somebody who cannot afford these taxes. On the way home, I worry about those people. When I'm signing commitments, I'm on the other side, because we gotta run the towns. The voters have voted in all 3 budgets, and that's where we are. We have so much value, and Christine knows this already. If, depending on how we figure out what the town's gonna do going forward, we're never gonna factor it in, because there are some people that are getting bit by that. There are some values that don't need to go up 20%, they need to go up 10, and some need to go up 40, and they went up 20. So our proposal somewhere in your package somewhere talks about that, and making sure that whatever we do going forward is correct, is the best possible human being thing we can do. So. And I just came from another town that's a lot more poor than this. So.
well, they get better than the 1770, that's for sure, but still up there,
We can show you 400 if you want to see it.
yeah, thank you.
Yep. Hey, Joe?
I was promised the 23 audit. Around this date here, that he gave me this number, he said, it's days away, days away.
In dog years.
Thankfully, Sandra and I have been working with a contractor of RH Smith, and she's been working on a lot of stuff to get them to where they need to be that she's finding that they didn't do. She's getting us more acclimated
to bring like the balance and the checkbook back in and whatnot. But we gotta have a set point, and that's a 6-month goal at this point to get where we need to be. But she's been here 2 days, 3 days, and she's working.
1690, we'd be using 400 from fund balance, giving an overlay of about 19 and change. I'm glad you're having trouble in thinking about taxpayers.
And I can kinda
That's
tell you
outstanding.
what that is on an average home if you want.
Yeah.
I have, okay, we can.
Well, explain to me how come the overlay is such a big jump between those three? How come the overlay is such a big jump between those three? Like the 16.6 is,
Yeah, it's the 100,000. The mill rate changes in the overlay.
okay, I get you.
Yeah, there's an internal relationship with those.
Right,
So I aimed that overlay at 20-ish thousand
right.
on the low end. So, so we got 260 million. So for every 100,000, it's gonna be $260. No, that's wrong.
260, what'd you say?
260?
260,000? What is,
No, never mind what I said.
But does that include the difference
I
of,
landed in Bremen at 5:30 this morning. I've been to 3 towns today, so.
but does that include the difference?
281-ish, 280-ish?
Yeah.
On an average home.
But does that include the lesser amount on the homestead exemption?
That's built in.
That's built into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
281 increase.
on an average home,
On 100,000. A little less than that.
well, I used 165.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so you're good. Yeah, I got the same number, different fresh.
Okay.
Ways
So
that.
that's a $600 increase in the majority of the town, it leaves.
$50 a month.
Awesome.
Gotta be careful with your fund balance stuff, because you start getting into borrowing money and, or we could look like Washington County. No idea, Christine, what fund balance is?
Yes, I do. That's per Ron, so,
Oh, yep. You couldn't ask for anybody better.
well, tell him to get our audits in.
He doesn't have enough room, or not enough hours in the
He's
day.
spread out way too thin across
Mhm.
3 states.
Yeah. I just talked to somebody today, they don't go to New Hampshire anymore. Don't need to.
We have a fund balance policy.
Yep. And targets $1 million.
Yeah.
938,000.
Yeah.
Not close enough to round up to $1 million.
Yeah, that's a real big number. So you're about 5 years, you're about 2 months. A little less than 2.5 months out. One's at 9.
9 months worth?
It's a much bigger batch.
Like, what are your thoughts?
One school, 600.
I have no idea. I don't think we should do what we did last year. If the auditor is telling us that that was not a great move, then I don't think we should come close to that. Yeah, our taxes are gonna go up. If anyone has looked at social media or the news, or I haven't heard of or seen any other town that is not doing the same thing. So we're in the same boat as every other municipality in the state. Why is that? I don't know. You know, we can sit here and rack our brains, and the townspeople can blame it on us. You know, it's not the municipal end of our budget that is killing this town. I mean, I don't care. I'll argue it with anybody.
Well, everybody got ARPA money. Not everybody spent it the way they were supposed to spend it. take that for what it's worth.
I mean, I would look at the 400. We've done it in the past. I mean, typically in the past, we've always been in that 300 range. I don't know if we've ever did 5. I don't believe we ever did 6 like last year. 3 seemed to be the normal year in and year out, give or take maybe 50,000. 300 seemed to, work. I guess if you wanted to go to 4, I would be okay with that, but I would not be okay with anything more than that. And that's just my opinion.
So 4 was 16.9, you said?
16,900, 12,000 overlay. It's just, like I said, you're a $5 million budget, $1,200 is 3 days of school expenses. Like I said, I'm not, whatever you decide, we'll create. It's not I don't have any dog in this, so.
I would feel better doing 5 if you had audits, but we don't have audits, and things will still change. So I would be okay doing the middle at 4. It's close to what we've done in the past.
When I first started in municipal world, it seemed it was always around 200, 250. That's 30 years ago. So I don't think 4 is unrealistic.
Yeah, the reason you have it in fund balance is that sometime in the past, you've built up your overlay, it's built up over overlay, or you haven't spent for something that,
Right.
maybe you didn't spend 100,000 on paving in that particular year, so that's where that comes from, that fund balance. If you've got 2 plus 3 months, maybe, you're running close, from what I've seen. I like to see 4, but I always have that, discussion with the auditors, and they have their way of doing it. What you're basically looking for is on your due date in October, you've collected enough funds to get you to the next due date. And you've got a 2-month cushion, and that's okay. That's not a problem. There'll be some non-payments in there, there'll be something that pops up for expenses in there. So a couple of months is, you're okay. My philosophy has also been, let's try not to spike the taxpayers down the road. So, but we don't know the past couple of audits, let alone what's going forward. It's always, we do the best we can on commitment night, and from what I've heard from your comments tonight, you have this to heart, and what's wrong with that? That's a good way to go about business. Like I said, I worry about my taxpayers on the way home, but there are things I do in the course of the day that I don't necessarily like. They're legal, but they're not always the most fun things for human beings.
I just think 17.3 is too much for jump right now. Jake, what's your thoughts?
I think it's crazy, but I guess it's gonna be 16.9, unfortunately.
So, any public comment?
Yeah, the reason why you haven't used 400,000 or 500,000 is because you've never been $1 million over a policy that we're not following. Even without the audit, the number is still at the same number despite we used 600,000 last year. How much money do we have in the bank?
Probably close to 3 million.
And we're getting ready to collect taxes soon. So and as far as the budgets go, the municipal budget is going up faster than the school share of the school budget. Just last year, from 23 to 24, was almost a 15% increase in the municipal side, but only 6% on the school side. The municipal budget has been going a lot quicker up than our share of the school budget. We're gonna almost be having the same amount.
Somebody tell me what those numbers are, what they represent. That's my 25 tax bill right there, $5,005. What number is that? Anybody want to see, which one's that one?
Municipal.
This is the county,
It doesn't make any sense.
that's municipal.
The county went,
What do you think that one is?
Schools.
but the county went up like a whole bunch
Nobody
last year.
can tell me, sit here, anywhere, and tell me that our municipal budget is driving our tax base. That number, $5,000, $4,000 of my tax bill goes right to the school.
But Chelsea,
Until that number comes down, we're gonna deal with this every year.
those numbers are, can I say something? Your school budget did not go, that money that you have in there, that 400,000, if you take that out of undesignated fund balance, will more than cover what the school increase went up this year compared to last year.
What I'm saying is
The
this is,
amounts that are on the tax bill are not, the school budget is not 79% of everybody's tax bill.
this is my 25 tax bill.
Correct, because they put all of the credits into municipal and county, and then it looks like all the increase went into the RSU. Last year, the county budget for Kennebec County went up like $400,000. But that number wasn't reflected on the tax bill.
I reported on this last meeting.
Or
You
a
were
different, sorry, I'm just saying that the RSU only went up 200 and, I can't,
55.
235, something
When
like
I get
that.
my tax bill, and I open it up and you got those 3 columns on the left, and I look at what I have to pay, $5,005, and I look at the breakdown, if the breakdown is wrong, we shouldn't even be putting it on the tax bill.
Breakdown.
So why is this wrong? It's ridiculous.
No.
It's just ridiculous.
My point is the last 5 years,
I get it, Rick, but you know what we also have spent? We had in the 15 years I've been here, the last meeting you said that our spending is out of control. We
I
spent
said it was higher than the schools.
We spent $120,000 on a reval. We had $1 million bond in my 15 years. We hired a new town manager at $25,000 extra dollars. We now have a new full-time code enforcement officer. We bought 2 brand new fire trucks and 2 used fire trucks. Am I correct?
Yep.
So we have spent money, yes, and our budget has gone up, but what do we have to show for it other than the new fire trucks? You know, she's saving us a ton of money. The money that she has found in our accounts and moved them around
Pays my
She's-
salary.
pays her salary. I just,
My point, Mike, is that you just can't point to the school because they've been keeping it in check. The last 4 years, 3% increase, 3%, 6th and 6th, but we're like 6%, 10%, 9%. That's where I'm going. But I'm saying, you know that I've worked both sides.
Absolutely.
And I tried. So what did I do? I went over to the school side, and I like to think I had a part in holding this down. And when I come over here to this side and try to explain to you folks that $100,000 for sheriff, when we're already paying for the county, wasn't the time to do it. And look where you're at, because you take $100,000 off your appropriation, you're gonna see that mill rate go down below 16.
when,
But our taxpayers need a service.
They also, I think educating our kids are more important than having a sheriff back at the fire department.
I agree, but you know what? It's keeping our kids safe. It's getting the drugs out of our town. It's slowing the roads down. You know what I see, Rick? I see kids on bikes, riding their bikes now because they feel safe. I walk my dog on our roads. I wouldn't 10 years ago or 5 years ago because people would fly by and don't care. So yes, we are spending money to have our town patrolled, but you know what, knowing that my next door neighbor's house isn't gonna get broken into because the police are running, means something to me.
But then it's like I said last time, it's the whole budget, and we need to work all three sides, county, school, and municipal.
Right, but you both are right,
I didn't say he was wrong.
right, but we all have to agree, most of our money goes to the school.
In every town.
Maybe we're spending a little bit more because we can't buy in bulk like the school can. We can't do everything that the school can to save money.
But the other two big issues that I pointed out earlier was the sales analysis ratio.
Right.
Several years ago, I told you, watch that, and it wasn't watched, and there you are. And the $1 million over the policy. Otherwise, get rid of that policy. You can vote that policy out tonight. They added the $600,000 used last year, and he's still projecting 1.9.
Projecting, but it's not a true audit.
Christine says
How much,
we
you got
need to
3
act
million in the bank before we go to get commitment.
Yeah, but,
Where's that money from? That's your undesignated
Well,
fund
you gotta
balance.
remember, $1 million, quote unquote, might be already committed. 820,000 is what we have figured out may possibly go towards a new bill that the voters voted in. Okay, so this close to. $1
Where's the
million.
vote on that?
It will be in November, that's what they asked last meeting. And I actually have the article written.
Well, where's the 800,000 come from?
That's ARPA money, that is, cell tower money, that is reserves, and that is Woodlawn money.
But the town did not vote to put that towards the town building.
The ARPA money is allowed to be designated by this board. The reserves, according to the article in the warrant, can be authorized to be spent by these people on the board.
That's a stretch, sorry.
You know, you mentioned, the school is 3-4%. I know how we always used to come in and strive for 4%. You know, the normal thinking person thinks, 4%, I mean, that really isn't a lot. But 4% of $28 million is a lot. You know, I know you said we're up 6%, but what's our annual budget, 3 million? So 6% of 3 million, 4% of 28 million, I mean, those numbers are skewed a little bit. I mean, and I've been saying it for the past few years, I just wish more people got involved, and when it came time for our annual vote, what did we have that voted on the school budget? How many people showed up to vote? 78, 80? I mean, that doesn't vote a school budget down? Until people get pissed off enough and think about their tax bill and go and vote that budget down at least once. We did it once in 2011, 2012. And, we saved some money back then. And you would think people would have understood that, but that's one out of 15 or 16 years that it's voted down. And everyone comes and busts our balls that it's a municipal side. I don't get it. I just, it irritates the hell out of me that the board's fault, the past board, the previous boards, when, as far as I'm concerned, and we can disagree all we want, that's our problem. And I'll fight that tooth and nail.
Now we'll
But
fight
anyway.
for all three parts of the budget.
they're all important. Our kids' education is very important, because they're gonna decide our future.
Doesn't look good. What are we, 43rd in the nation?
But if
Yeah,
we're
our
gonna
state-
kick our elderly people out of the town because they can't afford the housing, is that any better?
But our district, our school scores are higher than the state average.
Yeah, the state, I get that.
Yeah, I know, but
I
I'm
get
just saying
it.
because we stayed open during COVID.
Alright, so we need to go back to the. So I'll make a motion that we, approve 400,000 out of our fund balance to reduce the mill rate to 16.9.
Is that good? I'll
It's
second.
it's in negotiating, I mean, I did 300. The original brought up 500 too, so we can split it before.
I second the motion.
All those in favor? 2, 4, 1 against.
You were against it.
Yeah, I just am thinking, like Rick said, took 600,000 last year, and still 1.9, they just didn't even affect it. Didn't do anything. I just think we did that again, the numbers gotta be damn close, if, you know, everyone's, your math and,
Do you have a thing for them to sign for 400?
1690,
16.9? Okay.
we guess. So there's 3 pieces of paper, 4 signatures.
You're fine, you're fine.
Are the valuations gonna go up this year with this in accordance?
With what?
It's the total evaluation, you're using this number tonight, right? So next year the valuations will go up.
Nope,
Not necessarily.
we don't know yet. So there'll be new construction that comes on, there'll be some subtraction.
We have to sign that.
75%'s kinda low.
That's a ratio, that's not a valuation.
75% of what the state values.
And you're not gonna be at 75 next year,
Oh, okay.
you're gonna be at 70 next year, which only affects your homesteading veterans and betting reimbursements.
So instead of the $25,000 exemption, you'll see 17.
Correct.
5.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
5, somewhere in there.
I'm being optimistic for 70, I'll get some, you're gonna be out of compliance next year.
Alright.
So we're good with that. I don't know if you wanna peruse tonight or at a later date, what we gave to you. It's up to you. Sounds like you've got a few.
I did not put that on tonight. You and
Enough.
I were looking at emails.
See you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get this done.
Okay, set a due date for the fiscal year 2026 taxes. The tax collector town manager recommends October 10th of 2025 and April 10th of 2026. Any discussion from the board?
Those are both Fridays.
Payday. I'll make a motion that we set the dates as October 10th, 2025 and April 10th, 2026 for the taxes due. Jake seconded it. All those in favor? Yep. Any other business to come before the assessors? Seeing none, I will adjourn this meeting at 7 o'clock. So now, moving on, we'll go to our regular meeting. Meeting pledge. Any public comment on items not on the agenda? Let's go over them, right?
It will be under number 5 if you so choose.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on. Update for Kennebec County Sheriffs. They don't seem to be joining us. Public hearing. Nothing. Adjustments to the agenda.
So Madam Chair, I have a request to amend the agenda to include a ballot for the MMA annual business meeting that came in after this agenda. And Mr. Danforth has requested to allow himself to be an agenda item to include discussion surrounding the new town office.
Okay.
So that's up to you if you want to add those.
So I will make a motion, that we nominate, wait for the ballot.
Just add it as an agenda item.
So we'll add the ballot for the MMA annual business meeting to the agenda. And then Rick Danforth to talk about the town office to the agenda.
And 7. MMA.
All those in favor? Perfect. Alright. So the ballot for the MMA,
That'll be number 6, and then Rick will be number 7, under your new business.
alright. So moving on. Approval of consent agenda items. A, AP warrant number 4 in the amount of $659,237.53. That's carried over from the last meeting. B, payroll warrant number 35 in the amount of $5,982.86. Payroll warrant week number 36 in the amount of $3,506.90. Payroll warrant number, week 37 in the amount of $5,810.86. Minutes of the August 20th, 25 meeting. AP warrant number 8 in the amount of $330,028.94. AP warrant number 41 for the fiscal year, 2025, $2,420.06.
Madam Chair, if I may, just a note of a correction on number A, the AP warrant number 4 that was carried over. Thankfully, Vice Chair Susie caught this. I have no idea where the $659,000 number came from, besides the fact that the warrant was actually $926,534.70, and that's just about the amount of the school payment that was included in that warrant.
Okay.
It's like 400 and change off. So, the only thing I can think of was I created it, I used that number, and then I added the school warrant. I don't have an answer, but the true number is 926,534.70.
So much going on here. The meeting before, we had a number 2 warrant, $663,000, the August meeting. The school payment, I thought was in that one. Was that for that month, and did you add to this month's into the 659, or? I thought that the pay was already in that last number 2 warrant last month.
Well, see, you gotta remember, we're only meeting once a month, and I'm paying the bills.
Yeah, I know, but I thought the money was already in that one we signed on the 20th, and then now it's on to the.
Which would have been probably July's
Okay.
payment, because you met in July prior to me doing the bills.
Yeah, they're trying to piece all this together.
Yes,
And then,
and we have a little thing in our AP thing that we check off the payments, so we're not like
how come when
overpaying.
we do the school when it's on its own warrant, wouldn't that make it easier for everybody?
I can do that if you prefer.
All right,
I end up going through and putting,
all
I
right.
have months, like I have already ahead for, plowing, and they're checked off as we pay them out.
All right.
So we pull off the sheet and include
It's just a massive number, I think it would just make, personally, it'd make
That's
my
up to
life
you
easier,
guys.
because now I'm
You
chasing
tell
2
me.
numbers the last 2 months, and I couldn't tell you what way you are.
Well, you're certainly more than welcome to look through.
I will,
this.
absolutely, no, I will, but, and then,
These 2 right here were done yesterday, I finished them up last night. The AP warrant number 8 and the AP warrant 41 from last year.
so AP one, number 8,
Yep.
So one is item F and one is item G.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
also on the minutes from last month, we have the town lot backfill solicitation bid, and it said we discussed, we'll revisit at this meeting. I thought we discussed that we were gonna drop the town bill if we spend more money on it, that was the decision we made.
No, you talked about filling it in at this meeting, because the 2 of you couldn't figure out if you wanted to spend the money, the $60,000. But you did ask to send it to the voters as far as approval of building a new town office. That's my recollection
Yes,
on it.
mine.
That's not mine, but, okay. So I won't approve that, and,
Is that what you would call? Okay,
yeah, that wasn't what I discussed, but
okay.
that's fine.
So make a motion. If you're ready.
I'll make a motion to approve Article B, C, B, E, and G, cause F I haven't gone through yet, I came in today and wasn't in yet. So I guess I gotta go through that, I haven't had
So
time.
you're doing B, C, D, and E,
Yeah.
and not F and G.
Who wants to do G?
You wanna do G, okay. Alright, I'll second that. All those in favor? Okay,
Is Mike doing that one?
all in favor of that, no?
Well, we didn't have, I can't do it because I wasn't here for E, so I have to abstain on E, and
Well,
You can
why are
still
we
vote
doing
on
that?
them
You can.
if you've looked at them, even
I
if
haven't looked at it.
okay,
No, okay, so he's abstaining on the minutes. State law says you can approve them as long as you are aware of what is going on at the meeting. If you agree with what went on at the meeting, you are allowed to approve them.
There was a lot that was going on, so I'm just gonna abstain from it. period.
Okay, alright.
so I'll make a motion that we approve B, C, D, and G.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
As written. Okay, all those in favor? Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve E minutes of the August 20th, 25 meeting. And you had approved that one before, no?
What's that?
E?
No.
No, you're,
Wait a minute. Jake made a motion to approve B, C, D, and E. And G.
in G,
And G,
but now he's
And
taking
you
E.
said- Seconded it.
No, I.
And it was seconded, but it
whatever,
hasn't been.
I just want the minutes to be correct, so I need to know what's going on.
Well, that's not the way to be though.
So if you wanna correct your motion, we can do that.
We can, if you're not comfortable approving the minutes,
Yeah, I'm not gonna approve
we
the
can go
minutes.
back and look at the video, we have the video, and we
See?
can bring them back again next meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay. Release back.
It's not gonna matter in a few minutes anyway, so.
That's a negative comment that we shouldn't be doing. I'll make a motion that we approve AP warrant number 4 in the amount of $926,534.70. Do I have a second?
You said four,
A.
item A.
Yeah,
I'll second that.
okay. All those in favor?
No, we haven't done G yet, though, right?
No, G was approved the first round.
We haven't done F.
Yeah, we're
And
just
then we
missing.
didn't,
Right.
we do F then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so F. So I'll make a motion that we approve F AP warrant number 8 in the amount of $330,000, $28.94. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Okay. Alright, new business. Number 1, budget committee appointment, Steve McDonald.
Ooh, I got
He's a
one.
firm yes. I'll make a motion that we approve Steve McDonald for the budget committee appointment for the 2026 calendar year.
I'll second.
Fiscal year, not calendar year,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
All those in favor? Alright,
Thank you.
and discuss town lot backfill solicitation bid.
This will be coming back from the last meeting, as you will recall, that bid was sent out, we had one bidder, Willett Family Construction, in the amount of $63,120. And because one of you voted against it, one voted affirming it, obviously the vote fails, so we are bringing it back now to decide how you, as a board, would like to move forward with, full board.
So Mike, you weren't here, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, filling that goes hand in hand with the new town office and how it's filled. So I'm in favor of filling it, but to what extent that we do it. I understand that if we fill it to put the new town office there, it's a big expense. If we just fill it to make a parking lot, which was the original goal, was to expand our parking here. Any type of fill can be used to fill that hole, and then the last, foot and a half, 2 feet is probably somewhat critical for packing. So I guess I'll hold off on making a decision on that, because we need to make a decision on what we're gonna do with a town office. So, I feel that if we don't have the town office, then we fill it and make more parking, which was the original goal. And I think we were all in agreement to that at the time. Since we did this, then talk of the new town office, maybe moving over there, and while that's being built, we can still work out of this. And once that was complete, this could be torn down and made for parking. So I'm not in favor of filling that at $60,000 just if it's gonna be a parking lot. Cause I think if we were gonna do that, we can get that done for a lot less money. If it's just gonna be a parking lot. So I think the bigger discussion in front of that is, what are we doing with the $802,000 that we have saved for the new town office? I think that's the discussion that needs to be had. Then that decision takes care of that decision out there. That's my opinion. So you could move item 2 with Rick and discuss that whole thing all at once. But, I mean, that's my opinion.
If I can just add that you will recall, there was a lot of discussion about letting that sit for at least a winter after it was filled. If we wait until after the vote in November, it won't get filled this year. We're a year behind on possibly getting a new office.
I think it needs to be discussed. If this is the road we're gonna go down, whether it happens or not, there's $800,000 sitting there that we need to do something with. We've allocated it for this new town office, we've discussed it. If we don't build a new town office, I mean, we're 60 years into this. I don't know if we're gonna have, in our next 20 years, we're gonna have the ability to have $800,000 set aside for a new town office. This is a once in a lifetime thing for the town. If we don't do it, fine, but we've gotta do something with that money, and this place, it's cracked, it's, anybody walks in, the girls are cramped over there. Our vault is not approved with the insurance company. That one is over there, out back, but that one isn't. So there needs to be some discussions. Again, whether it happens or not, the town doesn't need to be divided on a new town office. I mean, there's enough division in this world that, unfortunately we saw a death today, at the national level because of the divisiveness that's out there. This town doesn't need to be, we've been divided before in years past with the scandal that we all went through, and we don't need it anymore. So if we have this $800,000 and we're not gonna use it for a new town office, then we need to rack our heads and what are we gonna do with that money to move this town forward? In what way? So I think the discussion needs to be done first before we decide on that. Because I mean, it doesn't make sense to spend $60,000 for just a parking lot, for fill. Because obviously Plymouth Engineering came up with these really scientific specs, and that's why it's $60,000. So that's my opinion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So, what's your thoughts? You wanted to hold, right, Jake?
Well, I get the whole thing of it at all, but we don't own the property. We've already cut the trees. Just, to me, it's foolish spending any money on that. Like Mike said, this stone steps here to get order of operations, and
But isn't that just a formality at this
Don't we
point?
own the property?
Not yet.
Technically, no?
Not yet, but we will.
we know government work, it's not that great, so who knows? So the $800,000, like you said, we can do a lot of things with it, public works, or the new sand shed, anything. But I think we should hold off on anything over there until town decides what they wanna do, it's federal property.
Well, we got $300,000 that we gotta do something by a certain date.
And then next year.
And I expressed to you what my thoughts were if we don't, what we should do. Again, my opinion. You know, this is the perfect time that you, if we can't spend that through, you know, if the townspeople don't to spend money on a town office, that $300,000, I say we start buying our plow equipment, and at the end of our 3-year term with this contractor, we're into all of our plow gear, we should save the town $150,000 a year, on, you know, I mean, plowing is.
And then once you do that, 10 years from now, we have some money set aside, we can build a town office. Keeping money in-house.
And that's possible.
I'd have to get permission from the government to change
Alright.
it over.
But it's just a different avenue to look at.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right, my opinions, look, as your manager, if you're upset over $1.5 million interest rate and our budget went down because we saved a heck of a lot less in reserves and stuff, we're not gonna get a town office in 10 years.
Right.
Not at $1.4 million today's cost.
Oh, I know.
It'll be 2.5 million in 10 years. You're never gonna save 2.5 million in 10 years. Never. Just future thoughts. I mean, I won't be here in 5 years, but,
Go on, talk about that.
No one's guaranteed tomorrow.
well,
Henry, you had your hand up.
Well, I was gonna say, I was with Mike on that, cause the townspeople may vote down the freaking town office, they may not want it. So, and if we spend $60,000 over there to spec, that's $60,000 wasted if the town votes that they don't want a town office,
Concrete somewhere else or something, right?
right?
So
But
I'll,
unfortunately, he's right again.
so I'll make a motion that we, bring this back to the table after the vote.
Well, I think we need to discuss it, you know, whether it's a town office or plow equipment or something else. We got a bridge down here that we gotta block off. Not that we wanna spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a bridge on a very secondary road. It seems like everything, when it rains, it pours for this town. You know, unfortunately, we're the three that are sitting behind the table, and we're gonna bear the brunt of the, people's opinions and their, so.
Can you move up the vote? Is there a way to move up the vote about the town office? You can't move up the vote, can you move that up to?
it's going to written ballot, it's gonna run with the November election,
It costs money to have a special
Yeah.
meeting.
and you have to have so many days for ballots and whatnot, so.
You move something up, you know, people think that you're trying to do something.
Oh, right,
You know,
people will get all weird.
Exactly, so
Will be voted down.
someone
anyways.
always doesn't hear about the notice or whatever, and
Okay,
we're a bunch of crooks.
I don't even live in Chelsea, but I wanna live in Chelsea. Cause I hate the crowd.
So what do we do with that? Do we
So
just-
I would just table it until after the November vote, so it'll come back to your December meeting.
Perfect.
Well, okay, Madam Chair, why don't we throw Rick's agenda item in, because he wants to talk about the town office. I mean, this is all wrapped in one, in my opinion. I mean, we're gonna get to Rick in a minute, but we're talking about the town office, he wants to talk about the town office.
I'm fine with that.
Whatever, you know, I just appreciate you guys putting me on at the last minute.
The floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. All right, I wanna go from two different sides. First the money. The opera money, that's 300,000, and I'm just curious how you were able to commit that with the feds when you didn't have a vote that we were gonna put a town office.
Of
according to ARPA funding allocations, the municipal officers can appropriate it to what they desire because it is not taxpayers' money per se. So in other words, they didn't collect it as part of a tax bill.
Okay.
So they are allowed, I'll tell you, but majority of municipalities gave it all to their employees. So,
But, okay, that's a whole different discussion, it's still tax dollars, but it's federal tax dollars, but we're not,
not on your tax bill.
not doing that, yeah, but
The
okay,
real
all right,
estate.
but that helps. 2012 was the first time we had a reserve account for the municipal building. And we put $5,000 in it, but the idea is to make repairs of the building. Scott started that. Then the following years, it went 3,000. And so I kinda went back and I guesstimated that reserve account should be somewhere between 120 to 140,000. Cause I'm assuming we spent money out of that for the new roof. That's where cause it was meant for repairs, okay? Later, just a few years back, it got turned into municipal building reserve account. It's semantics, it was designed for that. The fact that, yes, technically you can take the money from other accounts and put it in this account and then
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that warrant article in the town meeting says that they can spend reserve funds on what they're allocated for without going back to voters.
right, but how?
So they couldn't take money out of sand and salt shed and put it on a new town office.
So how did we get up to 500,000 in that reserve account?
That's not just in that reserve account, there's ARPA money, there is town.
That's 300.
There's town.
Cell tower.
Cell tower, which was 275,000 if I remember correctly.
Woodlot.
The
Woodlawn.
woodlot and.
So those reserve accounts they're using to put into, for a municipal building?
They
Yes.
will go to voters at that point,
Okay,
yes.
alright,
Well,
okay.
when we sold,
That
when we went to
makes sense now, okay.
When we went to the voters at the school, I believe it was in the library, and asked, no, in the cafeteria.
Cell tower.
The
yes.
cell,
cell
Right.
tower.
the cell
Yeah,
tower,
I
yes,
believe
yes.
we designated that,
Bernie Ross.
because we had already started planning for the new town office when Scott was here. We had meetings, we had an architect back in that day, so,
Okay, alright, so
I
that,
mean, we're not trying to pull wool over.
no, I just couldn't figure out how fast we got up to 800,000.
I ask her all the time,
Yeah,
where do we
okay.
get this 800?
Because then when you deal with the undesignated fund balance being $1 million over target, we don't know if that 800,000 is in that million.
No, no.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't, exactly, it shouldn't be.
That's
No.
correct.
So, the fact that we don't own the land, and you can say technically it will be ours, to me is in the same line as, it looks like we are $1 million over our projected undesignated fund balance per policy, but yet we don't have an audit. We're dealing with technicalities on both sides, so you can't,
Well, you recall at the meeting though, that school board said, you're good. You can have it. And Jake and I
But-
were there.
yes, but we're dealing with the federal government
Well,
here.
Yeah,
I had the Attorney General stating, an email stating, it is yours.
Then sign the paperwork.
Well, they have to go to Congress.
That's
the
my
problem.
concern,
Right.
okay? So I understand spending money, but okay, so that's where the money is, but we still don't have a up and down vote for the town office. Back 8 years ago, Mike, Ben, and I worked with Scott, and we went with UMA, and we got all kinds of plans. I wrote about it in the selectman report. We had them at the town meeting. Crickets. Nobody was interested in a town building. That's them. After that, there was a committee that met on Sunday mornings. We never
Yeah.
heard much out of that.
with the architect. Yeah.
Yeah, but we never heard that much out of it on where we were going with it.
So,
So why aren't we, you're working with technicalities that we don't have the land, and you're putting money aside, so I'm assuming you can tell the voters, this building's gonna cost 1.5, but we've already got half of it saved. But maybe those voters would like to have that money to reduce their taxes.
ARPA money can't be used to reduce.
No, I know that.
300,000 to 500,000.
But it's still 500,000. You know, you saw what happened at the last town meeting. people don't understand how a town meeting work anymore, right? And they just, I don't think they understand that that money could have been used elsewhere to keep the taxes low.
But they also need to, the town people need a building that is healthy to work in, that is not dangerous, because we haven't had this investigated. So what happens if we have this investigated, and maybe that's what we should do, maybe we should get structural engineer to come out, look at this building, and tell us if it's safe or not.
Well, they kinda did that already, the architect.
Right. But the whole
And
thing
they
is,
said it
is that,
wasn't.
that's a different debate on whether we need the building or not.
But we
How
already-
we get there is my concern.
But they're already telling us this building is not safe.
What's wrong with this building?
Look out.
So we got the wall out, that was, yeah, we gotta fix that,
I mean, structurally,
it's crap.
you
I'm,
know,
I'm not saying we don't need one, or I'm just
Right.
saying we're doing a lot of prep before we even have a vote. And I'm afraid what's gonna happen if it gets voted down.
So we've already had this discussion about before the town office is ever built, we can't do anything until we get the signatures from Congress or whatever, that we do have that land.
Right.
So we've already talked about that. That project doesn't move forward until that gets signed and it's in our name. It doesn't mean we can't move forward with plans, because if we don't,
Right. Yeah.
we're just behind the eight ball.
Right.
Those plans right there, UMA came to Scott, said, hey, geez,
Yeah.
we have a class that they wanna do something. Well, hey, we're talking about a new town office. So 4 teams got
Yeah.
together and put together that, and every one of us looked at that and said, that's not the town office that,
No.
we want a big square building,
Yeah.
plain Jane. And we went to town meeting and we had the people, what I remember is we didn't ask them we asked them what they wanted, what they liked, which one that they liked. And I don't even remember which one, because we didn't like any of them.
Right, but it didn't generate any interest.
Well, Christ, there's 35 people that shows up at town.
Well, that's
you
why I'm
know?
glad you put it on the referendum.
So,
I think the budget should be that way too.
so Scott put together,
Right.
got with Ben, it was Ben Murphy, from Coffin Engineering, actually moved, went somewhere else. We met over there a bunch of times. We actually had some really good townspeople. And one guy was like, I think from New York at one time. He was who was here? He hasn't, he's been, no, some different guy. He knew his codes, he knew, and he's been vacant ever since. I haven't seen him in 3 years. But anyway, so we were putting something together, and everybody was talking about basic, just a square building, no angles, no this, no that, just simple. Then it went by the wayside because Ben's company was dragging their ass on something, and it just went by, just like everything else in this town.
But we never got the vote. We should have got the vote then, because now you're gonna go to the vote after a major tax increase. You're gonna have their tax bills before this vote.
and that's fine. We're not, I don't wanna skew what's gonna
No,
happen.
I wasn't saying that, I'm just saying.
I don't wanna use more on the undesignated fund balance and say, oh, look, we're gonna lower your taxes this year, then you're gonna be happy, then you'll vote for the new town office, and wait, next year, you're gonna see a huge jump. I wouldn't vote for that. That's not fair.
Well,
This is honesty, Rick.
And also,
You're misunderstanding what I'm coming at. I didn't say to anybody to be.
People are gonna be upset by it.
I'm not saying that you guys are dishonest. I'm just saying this undesignated fund balance is gotta get in control, and you don't have, it's not a guarantee you're gonna get signatures for that property.
If you have the Attorney General stating you're going to have it, it's a formality at that point.
Act of Congress, there's a
Right,
reason
lock it
why
down,
they
Joe.
use that expression, Sharon.
No, I know.
Okay?
No one comes to our meeting, the government's good.
I can't go to the bank and say, give me a $500,000 mortgage, I'll get the signatures next month. They
If
won't
you're the
do it.
government, you can. Okay, so
No, I'm just, I understood, now I understand where the money's coming from. I get that. It's just, I wish we'd have had the vote first.
And the kicker.
I'm glad you're not spending 64 there.
No, no,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a
that's right.
realist,
Yeah.
but I think it's great if we have some more parking, we've always talked about
Yeah.
that. How many times in the fall, now that school is here, you pull in for a meeting and this parking lot's full, it's like, oh my God, what's on the agenda that we don't know about? And it's soccer and stuff, but, we also have a kicker of the, tax increment, the,
Tiff?
TIF, there we go. There possibly is changes in,
There's changes
so,
in
you know, who was it that told us we needed to spend some money out of that?
it. Reagan,
Yeah.
So,
the state law changed the TIF, which we need to amend our TIF
Oh.
to include it, that you can now spend up to 50% of your TIF, but no more than 5% of the project on government buildings, not just emergency buildings, okay? It used to be just police stations and fire
Right.
stations. No longer, you can build new town offices.
Palmer, it's on the outside.
That's gonna help.
So,
well, that,
we
you
will
know,
take
our whole-
some out of TIF too, but
Yeah.
we don't have that number yet,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, the only thing we've spent out of that TIF is the Hollow Road and Coney Road paving. Those are the only big jobs that we've spent
Okay.
since we started the TIF. We've done little stuff. But the only two big projects we've done, Rick,
Yeah.
as you know,
Oh, yeah.
Ben and
Yeah.
I were there,
Yeah.
was Hollow Road, Coney Road, and that was like 160.
We could never get development going.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. So that could be a game changer where there is absolutely no
Yeah.
tax burden on the taxpayer of the town if that TIF comes into play.
Yeah, okay, all right.
So,
I wanted
What
to,
is-
I wanted to mention, I don't know if anybody's aware yet, but the state approved us to move our voting to the town office permanently.
Okay.
So you're gonna wanna look at parking for that also. Just mentioning it. From November on, voting will be here.
Good, they can see how bad this building is.
So we're gonna table that until our December meeting, and then it will be brought back to us. Alright, moving on, close the day after Christmas, Friday, December 2026, is the state closed? Okay,
We don't know, but she always does it like a day or two before, saying,
right,
state is Yes, yes.
yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve to close the town office Friday, December 26th, 2025, any discussion?
I'm in favor of that, but I would also like to somewhere put on the agenda, and I've kind of talked about it before, but when we have weeks where we're only open 1 or 2 days, I think we should have a discussion of, and I don't know how it could work, but if we're gonna be only open for 2 days, I say we look at possibly opening up on a Monday, on those weeks that you're down and you're only open for 2 days.
You will not get anybody here.
Well, you know, and you're probably right, but I think it's worth a discussion. We owe it to our townspeople. We used to be 5 days a week, years and years ago. And when we came into our scandal, we went to 4 days because of that. Am I correct, Rick? And we've never,
Once they realize it, they'll say, well, they're open on Monday, it's a holiday week, they would remember.
I know, I just,
We're thought about
if,
it.
It will happen once a year for the most part, and that will be Thanksgiving week. Cause the rest of them are Monday holidays.
and I think we owe it to our townspeople that, you know, we make an effort to move it. Hey, it may not work and you guys can shoot me, but,
Ooh, don't say that.
oh yeah, that was kinda,
Jesus.
that wasn't.
I know we
Yeah.
don't always agree, but I got your back, I don't.
But anyway, that's just a thought.
Stanley?
So, just a quick, that was one of the reasons for moving the elections here, is so that we could be open instead of closing that day.
Yep.
And
and also the MMA convention where we normally close, so that staff can go. Half of us are going to the convention and half of us are staying here to be open. Because that's 2 extra days just in November, well, 1 in October and 1 in November, where we normally would be closed, that we're not asking for this year because we're gonna be able to staff the office to help support things like being off the day after Christmas by having those days that we were normally closed before. Just throwing it out there.
So you're gonna be closed 2 days and you're making up 2 days?
No.
No?
Well, Christmas, we would have already been closed.
Right, but the day after Thanksgiving and then the day after Christmas.
The day after Thanksgiving is always a holiday.
That's a state holiday, it's considered
And
Thanksgiving
you probably
Friday.
gotta close early on Christmas Eve day,
We close at noon time.
so, you know, you're looking at a day and a half of being open. This is one of those situations where, you know, you send out flyers, yes, it's gonna cost us money, but you send out little postcards that, hey, you know, we're gonna be open on Monday, this week.
Right, see what it does.
So I'll make a suggestion that we utilize social media. So, we can do a poll on social media, yes?
Mhm.
On Facebook. So, somebody from the board, one of us will make a statement and just asking townspeople, we're not gonna hit everybody, but we're gonna hit a lot of them, if they would be in favor of having us open on a Monday of a holiday week.
When the holiday falls on other days.
Other
I
than
would
Monday.
explain it,
Yes,
that
yeah,
we're only gonna be open 2 days, with the townspeople
Yep.
in,
be in favor of
us
saying-
opening up on a day that we're not open, which is Monday.
Yep.
You know,
We'll at least get a pulse. And we're not gonna get everybody, but it'll at least be a pulse, so, we'll work on getting
maybe throw a article on the November ballot. Would you just put something together, would you favor opening up and have people, I mean, you're gonna get more people to sign it there than you are, I think, social media. That's mine.
That
I
would
mean-
be an opinion, that would not be like a referendum vote, like the charter commission, and you're just doing a pulse, you might as well just do a straw vote with people leaving the polls.
Whatever, I mean, if you're gonna get 400 people, you're gonna get 400 opinions.
Then I would suggest a table
Yeah,
at the
but
polls
72.
with one of the employees
Yeah,
sitting
just
there
to, yeah,
with a-
hey, would you fill
Like
this
a
out
petition.
when they're leaving? Would you fill this out, they'll read it, they either check out yes or no.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that.
Good idea. Okay, location of plow trucks for Willett Family Construction. Phew,
I expected a quick meeting tonight.
never say that again.
As you know, Willett Family Construction got the bid to plow our roads. Tim Willett did ask me if this board would have an issue with the plows staying at his lot over there. He will keep a loader on site to load the trucks. It's not stated in the contract that they have to stay there. I did look that up, it just says that a loader has to stay there, and he was good with that. So I said I had to bring it to you guys for your opinion on it.
I don't see a problem with it. I mean, they're right on 17.
I mean, as long as you have the inspection, which you talked about.
He's
obviously.
ready for the inspection,
And
so
then my biggest thing is, the trucks leave the sand shed for the storm and not full of sand going over there, sitting there, you know what I mean, I just don't want any issues. Trucks should be empty when they leave there, the storm's coming, yeah, go fill them up, but I hate to see the trucks leave it loaded, not saying it's gonna happen, but it's just a deterrence for the town.
It's an image, it
Right.
could be skewed.
absolutely, I will tell him that. Okay. Are you guys okay?
It
as
just
long as
saves us
it's that?
liability, yeah.
Mike, your thoughts?
I have no comment.
Alright, so do you need a motion or no?
No, I think as long as you guys just give me a blessing, and I will let him know that the trucks are not to be filled with sand when they leave.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And then KB cog election of officers ballot to be cast.
You have a ballot in there, as long as you're okay with the slate, you can just, motion to accept it as proposed.
Alright.
So move that motion.
I'll second. All those in favor? Perfect. And then number 6, the MMA ballot.
That would be for an official representative at the MMA annual meeting. So the board's just appointed, nominated me to be your representative at the MMA annual meeting.
I'll make a motion that we nominate you on our ballot for the MMA conference. Any discussion?
My motion's
second.
Henry Truman.
Hey.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
I second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Seriously, for the vote, all in favor of Christine? Okay. All right, are we done? Is that it?
No,
No,
Oh, no.
oh, yeah, for new business, yes.
Yeah, and then old business, continuation of discussion surrounding 10 Searles Mills Road. This is gonna haunt us. Okay.
This board asked me
Give
to
us an update.
Yep, this board asked me to come back to this meeting with prices to demolish and fill in that lot. I received a bid as low as, hold on, 15,200, 19,000, and $39,450. Quite a range there. Obviously, these were drive-by prices because the lot is,
What's the businesses on those companies?
that would be Ernie Shaw, Riverside Disposal, and Willett Construction.
Who was it say?
The cheapest was Ernie at 15.2, and the highest was Willett at 40. So,
How much was Riverside?
19. I spoke to Attorney Ferrante this afternoon. He said you guys have filed everything in order to go in and demolish it, and we would send him a special assessment that he would have to pay, and if he didn't pay, we would put it with the tax bill. He'd have basically 18 months before it would foreclose. The second option would be that we go to court to have a judge stand behind the decision of ordering demolition. It would probably take 3 to 4 months to get in front of the judge, but you would have the court's backing on that. The other option is, as he told you the last meeting, to go get an administrative warrant to enter that property and then go from there.
So here's my thought. I don't necessarily know that we need to tear the building down. He hasn't let us in to inspect anything, so maybe the repairs he's done with a little bit more repairs and we put the septic in, maybe the town can sell it. So I'm for doing the administrative warrant as our first step, and then at that point, if we get in there and it's just nothing's really done and the repairs are gonna be too much, then we look at tear down. That's just my opinion.
I agree, because I have a feeling the KJ is gonna get involved in this one, and it's just gonna be a big can of worms, so I think if we do all the steps possible, it makes us look better in the long haul, because it's gonna get nasty.
And I wanna do right, like
Right.
if he's just biting his nose to spite his face and he just has done all this work without the septic, it doesn't want us to see it, that's a shame when we could have avoided all this, but I feel like we've gone this far. We need to get the administrative warrant. Mike, your thoughts?
Obviously I wasn't here the last time, I came in today and Christine told me, about this article tonight. I am not in favor, I'm partially to blame for this because I promoted, I had faith in the guy, he gave us a commitment and we would buy it, I was always pushing for extending it, so this doesn't give us a good precedence going forward with other cases, and I am responsible for that. I have backed this guy, I had faith in him, but we start demolishing people's properties. He has put money into that property. It has improved immensely from what we first looked at it. You serve someone papers that, hey, we're coming in, excavator, there's gonna be trouble. Granted, there's probably gonna be sheriffs there to facilitate this, but I'm not sitting behind this desk to tear someone's house down. He has goals, eventually it'll get there, but this is how people get shot. You know, the three of us, you, Greg, we promote this, we say, yep, we're gonna tear this down. You don't know what this guy is capable of and what he's gonna do. We see it every day. Some of us may remember 10, 12 years ago, a school board meeting out west where a guy's wife was fired. And the guy went to the school board with a gun. And it was all over the news. He held everybody up and he literally shot at the superintendent. And luckily the bullet hit a book in front of the superintendent and it ricocheted over him. There happened to be a cop out in the hallway and the guy was neutralized. But that's what happens. Not saying that this is gonna happen here, but you tear someone's, there ain't a person in this room that would not be pissed off if we're coming in with an excavator saying that we're gonna tear this place down. You have nothing, and he's put a lot of money into it. This is a really, really tough situation for this town to be in. I like the idea of getting this administrative, we gotta get in and look at it and go from there, but I am not in favor of recommending we.
And like you said, your setting precedence is.
I get it, Jim.
Everyone in town is always spending.
I get it.
You grab this kind of money, the town manager, everybody's involved, the lawyers, everything, you guys will finish the punch. So it's like.
But you didn't get elected to
Right.
tear someone's
Right,
house down.
exactly.
You know, you're gonna feel like shit,
Oh,
we all are
absolutely.
gonna. You know, we could drive down the Hollow Road and look at the old plant place and there's so many other houses in town that should be demolished.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we need to, I'm gonna use Rick's verbiage of a slippery slope. This is a really tough situation for this board to, and again, I take responsibility because I had pushed at all of us to give this guy another chance and another chance. And this started over 3 years ago. I told my wife about it tonight when we were coming. She says, Jesus, that started, wasn't that like 3+ years ago? I said, exactly.
Yeah, Jason and I and you were on the board. when that
I'm
first
partially
came.
responsible for that, so I apologize to the townspeople, but,
I think that was one of my first meetings.
Yeah, well, I own the blame too, cause I was in his back
well,
corner.
I was pushing it, so, I can't really blame a lot on Jake, cause he wasn't around. I wish I could,
Was
but.
that the meeting?
Yeah.
But this way, I mean, we're gonna, whatever the outcome of this is going to be, I just wanna make sure that I can lay my head on my pillow at night
3 years.
and know that we as a board, as a town,
Exhausted all that.
like you said, exhausted all avenues and did everything we could.
I would rather, if this is possible, find the guy until he can get his occupancy permit. Whatever, $100 a day, cause he has violated, he's gone over it, and then you put a lien on the place for however, you know, I would rather see that.
You can tear down.
Cause this place is definitely not a Jen Jellison place.
No.
No.
But we don't know that, Lance, is it hollow, Lance?
No,
We have no idea.
you're right. Looking on the outside from what we when we first looked at this 3+ years ago, he has made a ton of improvements. Yes, inside, until we can get in there. And I think the discussion should be made after we get in there.
And if the doors and windows were installed, the thing was jacked up, you know, how them gonna work right now, not at all. You know, stuff like that, that's consequence.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we, seek an administrative warrant for 10 Searles Mill Road. All those in favor? Perfect. Thank you. Alright, legal none, town manager report.
Our new town clerk started, if you haven't had a chance to meet her, please stop by. that
Oh,
she
yeah.
has experience.
Saturday, November.
She just has to learn our computer program, thank God. And she fits right in, she's right in with us, so. Let's see, I think I already told you about Sandra and I working with the auditing company to take care of getting everything moved back and where we should be. Voting is here, as Sandra had said, or Dot said, one of the two, so we've got that approved, that's exciting. I think that's probably all I have. It's on, yeah.
Thank you.
30-day notices went out,
Okay.
so
Town office report,
that's in the,
and Mary,
yep,
I saw that. Code enforcement officer,
I don't have that one.
that's
I
okay.
thought we had an issue tonight that we were gonna discuss.
It was a no-show.
That was a no-show.
Oh, okay.
Animal control report,
That's
it's in there. Thanks Gretchen for coming. Fire chief report,
That's in there,
perfect. School board report,
you have that.
It's in there.
in there. Yes, I
Superintendent,
did
the
see that earlier.
superintendent's report is in there.
Okay. Alright, do we have anything to the board, Mike? Anything you wanna bring up?
We've got verbal communications.
Oh, we have. Thanks for keeping me straight. Verbal boards and committees. Oh, we're gonna nix
Skip right
Dawn.
over to.
Wait for having her back.
Did you see the eyes?
I didn't look that
Oh,
way.
that bottle is coming this way.
We formed a planning group and we've started working on a Christmas raffle. The day-long celebration on the same day that the PTA has a craft fair. During the day, we'll have a Christmas social here. We're gonna have the dinner at the cafeteria and a dessert auction and then the tree lighting afterwards. And we're working on that and we're working on the second annual Battle of the Bands in February. That's all I have for right now. But I will be coming up asking about Chelsea Days. We'd like to do something in October, end of September, October of next year.
We don't have final numbers yet for 175.
No. Waiting for all the little, but, yep. But we should be able to raise enough money to cover an event between the Battle of the Bands and whatnot.
Perfect.
What'd that bring in last year, remember? That was man.
Almost 4,500
Oh, yeah,
after we paid out.
right.
Yep.
That's good.
And people really had a good time.
They
Just
did.
like the dessert auction was really hard to do.
Drinking and Chelsea.
It won't be next year.
Instead
You know who's talking?
Good, you're gonna get, are we
She's
getting
our
the
auctioneer.
megaphone?
My voice should be enough.
Yep.
That's it for you, Doc?
That's it.
Okay. Municipal officers, I do not have anything tonight. Oh, I do, actually. The property on Townhouse Road that we've had rated a couple times. I've seen a lot of people going in and out on my travels, so
Yep.
just,
The bank is aware that there are squatters there, and the,
It's been on there the last 2 weeks.
the police, sheriff's department went up and knocked on the door, of course they can't do anything. Because the problem is that the bank isn't asking them to clear them out,
okay.
so.
Heavy, heavy drug traffic, for sure. Last 2 weeks, I had a guy in the front lawn the other night passed out, coming scared.
Timmy went back and took care of Key Street, you were asking about that one the last time, he went back and took care of that. He also took care of the corner of Ferry and Dr. Mann. And he's going to be doing the paving down on Nelson, however, he did call me and said that they found a culvert. So, we have to add another culvert to the cost.
Let's do that.
Oh, the
Well, I
culvert's there, the
didn't
culvert's
go up
there.
that far because.
No,
of
we
the
weren't gonna pave
war.
it, so.
Did you want to give the price for it at the beginning?
call Heel and based on the length.
Right, or else he drove down there, right?
Um,
That's a famous move, but anyway. Is there some more power at Sandra? Nothing?
Nope, the gentleman that I am having do it, I think I told you, was at the fair all week, so I'm sure he's playing catch up last week. I'll try to get a hold of him this week.
Yeah, just been
Yeah.
well long enough.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Are we gonna move the porta potty in? Because
Yeah,
I love
that little turnaround, is it like a spot for people just to just sit there for time?
So I asked them to move it because they always bring it over here in the summer. They moved it back, however, somehow the key that they had got lost in the transition from AAA portable toilets to now Pine Tree. Wow.
Costello.
Could-
Costello.
Pine Tree Waste is who we make it out to now. So the key for the gate got lost somewhere.
Okay.
So Henry unlocked it for me to get it moved in the morning, and then I'm mailing them another key.
Perfect,
So,
perfect. I can see trouble written all over that.
yes, and I explained that to her.
Surprised no one's in there yet.
Yeah.
I actually
Yes.
fallen asleep, it's not.
Right.
I told her that. I said, you're lucky it's not gone.
Right.
Well, Barry.
When I first saw it, I thought someone stole it, and put it there.
Yeah, no, I did.
Oh, that's stupid, it's huge.
Yeah, no. So,
Well, that's an odd place to put it, but I figured it was.
Then I thought, maybe what for the plow guys, it was way too early on that. I go, that's kinda cool. Who knows nowadays, but
The logistics.
it's never a week and a half, 2 weeks.
For the homeless.
That's what I was, yeah, no,
Mike, do you have anything?
What I have is, because I wasn't here the last time to talk about the 175th, I want to thank all the people that spent a few years on that, and there was a lot of hard work putting that on. It was a great display out there. Very disappointed in the amount of people that showed up. I wasn't at the 150th. I don't know how many people were there.
A lot. We had a good
Um,
turnout, yeah.
I don't know what has changed in this town in 25 years, but there were more people that I didn't know than people I knew there. I think we all expected and hoped that there was 200 or 300 people that were gonna be there. The chicken spread was great. I mean, that was just all the vendors that showed up out back, I'm sure they had to be disappointed. It was just disappointing that we didn't have more residents show up at this event. I don't know what the answer is, but I definitely am concerned that if we ever plan anything like this moving forward, people really put a lot into this effort, and I haven't heard scuttlebutt about other opinions, but I know I was disappointed in the turnout. There should have been more people there, especially from our town. I think the majority of people there will listen to the bands. And it's just disappointing that, we didn't have more people that we knew. Nobody from the planning board showed up. None of our ex-select people, not throwing you under the bus.
No, I had a
It's just-
family committee.
And I get that, yeah.
But I did the 150th, so I figured I was.
You're
exact.
good. Just people that were involved with the town and town politics and stuff, and some of the older generation. It was just disappointing, and I don't know what the answer is to get people involved. I know you've talked about, Christine told me today about Chelsea Days moving forward. Man, I really don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I really don't know about future events like that.
You can't give up hope.
And
If
I don't
we
know
give up hope
what you
on
need
this
to do to
town,
make people, to change people. And we see it in the boards and committees that, we try to fill. When people run for selectmen, there's not 4 or 5 people that are running. There's 1, maybe 2 at times.
I feel the majority of it is people work all day, money's tight, they get home, they watch the news, they get depressed, they hate the government, last thing they wanna do is hang out with us. Seriously, that's what it is, they're depressed, last thing they wanna do is hang out with us. It's
Like that
it's
older
unfortunate.
population that was involved, they're now too old,
Yeah,
and that's sad, you know?
that's it.
Yeah.
And we did have a few,
Oh,
And-
we did.
and I was in the perfect location at the cotton candy, because that's where people came in,
We
and
had
that's
our
where they
Boston
left.
cane holder there.
And I did survey a lot of people that left, and I said, are you from our town? 90% of them were. The rest of them were all here for the bands, you are absolutely right. I asked, what would you like to see in the future? And they said, you know what they said? And these are from the younger kids. Kickball, 3-legged race, the egg, the old fashioned little things that don't cost anything. It is going to take us, look how long it's taken us to build up the tree lighting. It is going to take a few years, but I think us as board members owe it to our townspeople to get out there, get on our Facebook pages, get on our roads, get on stopping at school, maybe standing in the line saying, hey, this is what's going on. Like I think that the town voted us in, and we need to make sure that we're using our voices to the best ability so they hear what's going on. If they won't come to us, we go to them. And if it means our social media, if it means we send out mailings, I don't know, I don't have the answer. But I'm not ready to give up hope on this town, because you know what, I've seen a lot of people watching our channel. But I think Jake is right. We've got a lot of single mothers and dads out there that don't have daycare, so can't come at night. You know, or,
Yeah, and I don't wanna be a Debbie Downer, I look at the effort that these people put into
That's
it.
just it, at the end of the day, it's worth something.
You know, setting up,
I had so much fun.
tearing down, you know, it was, the same people, you know, day in and day out at any of the events that we put on.
you're not wrong.
And again, I don't wanna be a Debbie Downer, I was just, very disappointed in the turnout. So, anyway, that's all I got, I ran long enough, so, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:04.
I'll second, all in favor? Alright.
Who's this?